We're going to invite Grant here, and we're just going to let him sit here comfortably. So, welcome, guys. We're going to get started quick and fast and in a hurry because we have stuff to cover. We have a good number of people on. I see you on there. And I appreciate all of you. Alec, good looking out. Love you, brother. JD.
Menti.
Potter,
We got a Menti, Jeanette.
all right.
Fields, Sima.
So one of the things that we've done more consistently recently is we've invited the agent to come on and talk a little bit about specific parts of their business. Today, Grant is going to teach us algebra.
That's what?
One of the things that we about to so tell us a little bit about how long you've been in the business now.
2 years as of last Wednesday.
Here's just the last time. Accelerated your
What was your title first year in real estate? What was the title you earned for first year in real estate?
I ended up with Rookie of the Year the first year. Yeah.
So the reason that I start there is because I think that a lot of times that's not me. I was like, wow. In the 2 years that you've been in business, you moved past some of the normal pitfalls of what real estate agents experience. Tell me about what you've done to consistently push yourself to the goals that you have for your team goals. And what does that look like in the last 2 years?
Well, it's definitely changed. Even over the 2 years, learning about the industry and figuring out where I fall into it, what kind of business I want to have. One, I've been surrounded by some really amazing people. That's been unbelievably helpful. Knowing that I always had the backup to help me with the questions that I had, get me through those ups and downs throughout the way. Of course, as no one really, everybody already knows, the last 2 years have been a little wild. So coming into the industry in these 2 years was very different as well. But with that, the mindset kind of shift, we'll say, that I had was kind of get beat on with this, and not to knock it, because I know you just did the class, the millionaire real estate agent, and getting 150 transactions and all of this stuff. And a lot of what I heard when I was going to events, and we went to like FunCon and Wailopo and all that stuff out, and all the different events, there were a handful of people on stage. And one of the things I pulled from it, maybe it's because I was just sensitive to it, was not in this to make friends. I heard that phrase more than once. And it always kind of caught me off guard, and I didn't quite understand it because this was just so transaction driven. But then when I'd get back here, I wasn't hearing that. I was hearing, let's not make it a transaction. Let's make a relationship. Let's do this. And it helped pull me away from that other mindset that's kind of out there sometimes, of just pushing for the transaction. Just go get as many as you can. Be ready to steal from others, which I'm still okay with that because I am competitive, but having that relationship mindset. And it's really started to change over this year as well, because having a little bit actually lower transactions, I was able to really, really focus on what I wanted in my business and how I approach it, and what tools that are best for me to kind of make my business move forward, or that is just the relationship. That's why I came out of medical. What I was missing there, and what was kind of stopping in the medical field that I was in, you couldn't have those relationships anymore. It was all about the transaction and just moving people forward and seeing how many we could get. Couldn't have those conversations. You couldn't have that relationship with them. So for me, that bigger change, kind of get through that, is sticking to what builds relationships. And a lot of that is open houses, knocking, and that side of lead genning. And of course, lead genning is always there, different for everyone. But for me, those are my main topics, because I can actually meet someone face to face. Having events, I mean, you guys see my lifting events and things like that. They're a lot of fun, but a lot of it is just getting a community of people together and kind of enjoying that space, finding ways for others to enjoy that as well. So that's kind of the biggest takeaway of finding ways through it all, is finding out what works best for business. It's going to take a lot of trial and error, but even coming to the events here, I know it's not as popular of a thing, but a lot of us, that you see here today who are in the office are the ones who come to the events too, because it makes a difference for us and it is beneficial. I mean, really have to look at things, and I know things are tight, but spending a couple extra bucks to get that one lead, that's, if you get a transaction out of one event, paid $50 or $100, that's still worth it. That's a closing. Like, so you have to really look at those and make sure that you're finding those opportunities and going after them and make sure they fit into your day too. But yeah, it's kind of
No,
long
that,
answer.
no, I appreciate that. I think that your approach, I think your approach has been viewed, by everybody. What do you think you were surprised about that you found in the business, or what didn't you expect to find?
Probably a few things. One, that it's I mean, it is really similar to every other industry. You're going to have people who are wonderful at their jobs. They're here to make a difference with people. You're going to find people who aren't, and
You're such a nice
and that
guy.
happens, and you just run with it. I mean, I've been yelled at so many times, and in in other industries as well. I mean, I've had doctors yell at me and all kinds of things, and it always just kind of brush it off, and it happens here too. But you have people who just don't work as well with you. They're in it for that cutthroat nature, which again, I am slightly competitive, but not to the detriment of other people. So that one always kind of rubbed me a little bit wrong when you really run into those people who are that way. You find clients who want to be that way as well. And then yes, transactions are low, but you find out that's not how you want to run your business. And you work with the people you want to work with.
I thank you for wanting to step into this today. I know you had a lot of time to prepare. But again, I think there's a different reason why all of us are here. Each of us has a different reason. And what I would say in terms of what you consistently bring to the table for us is probably the same thing you bring in the table for your customers, right? Which is a bit of levity, right? There's a lot of stress in what we do. There's a lot of moving parts. You bring some levity to that conversation, some humor, and the wisdom of, hey, we're going to get through this, whatever it takes. You could share your, with the agents, if you could share, what's it the commitment that, what is it, the mindset that you have to kind of continue to move, continue to bring that levity and sense of humor you bring to the office and to your transactions? How do you stay in that mindset?
Some of it's practice. For me, a lot of it getting in is because I'm a very technical person as well. So in my old job, very science-based and very technical, and I loved it because I like that stuff. So I can relate to it. When I'm good at it, I'm confident in it. And it's the same thing here, coming in practice, having practice in our office and coming to the events and just hearing things over and over again. It gets you comfortable with what you're saying to your clients and how to talk to other people and reassure them that what you're doing is going to help them. Doing it over and over again, because then you don't feel so emotional about it. You feel confident in what you're doing. So you can keep that even keel across the board and bring that to them when they're having a tough time, having the emotions they're going to have. I mean, it's not that they're not going to exist. And I tell clients that as well. I go, we're not trying to just eliminate your emotion-based thinking and decision-making. We're trying to keep it so you can have those and come back from it and pull both parts together. So it was a lot of practice and finding that, again, just getting good at something to keep getting better so that you stay confident in all situations, because something's always going to come up that is abnormal. It's just inevitable.
Absolutely. Grant, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being in the office, man. I appreciate your willingness to always step in and do it. So thank you, Grant. We appreciate you, my man. See, nice and easy. Nice and easy. All right. Now we're going to invite a friend of mine up. I've known this guy for a long time. He might have brought his chili in today for tomorrow, but whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, My friend, your friend, everyone's friend, Mark Esperson from Pillar Title. Go ahead, buddy.
Anything.
Nobody knows. So I walk in this morning and on the back counter, there's a crock pot. And I go, who's this? And Mark goes, oh, that's me. I go, mostly cook off.
Missed it by a day. That's pretty exciting to get things going, I guess.
So here's the thing. This chili is going to be savory because it's going to have some time to cool off.
Yeah.
Be reheated. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's
hot.
just
Yeah.
it's just sitting there stewing in there together, working everything together for another day. Good Lord.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Well, it's gone. It's gone. Oh well. So hey, real quick, I just want to talk to you about a certified ID. It's a vendor partner that we've brought on to protect your clients. The third party wire fraud protection and recovery company made this investment to protect the file, the client, against fraud up to $1 million. Excuse me. And so what happens is we set up a portal and everything is done. The entire transaction is done through the portal. So you get their wire instructions. The wire is done through there. Everything is done through this portal. And if something happens, again, they'll be covered up to $1 million. We felt that was a great investment, a great way to protect your clients, protect the transaction and everything. So at Pillar, we are looking into different things to move forward and protect, and just want to keep things better protected. We're also looking at something with a builder and the banks. As we do draws, builders do draws. We're looking at doing actually holding that transaction, and we'll take care of all the draws. The builder, the bank, and us will all be able to go into this new system that we're gonna have, and then we'll hold all the draws and we'll track all the draws too. So that'll be coming soon. I'll let you know when we have that. That'll be a new system that we'll have in place for all the builders and for the bank. So I'll let you know when that's up.
Thank you.
And for those of you that don't know, Mark actually runs the football pick'em pool in number 2. Still, I'm number 2. Number what? Versus number 3. And then there's I think there's a couple of us in that number 2 position of actually I think you are number in that same. Yep, you are, brother. You're at the bottom. Jordan picked on team colors. Switch panel next, right now. I'm going to introduce the panel.
Right. Very good. We have to. That's because I talked to you.
You do.
We're gonna switch it up a little bit. We have a panel for you this morning. Normally we do our broker next, but we're gonna pop our panel first so everybody can get to where they need to be. So we have Karen, Jane Conkey, DJ, Isaac, and Solange coming up. So come on up to our panel.
Can we get an extra one of these?
Okay, right. I think we have more. No, you're gonna, unless somebody wants to stand, you can stand. We're gonna talk to you guys a little bit about, which is kind of perfect after our hindsight kind of conversation earlier, but what can you be doing, or what should you, or maybe what they are already doing in their business to continue growing that business and getting the business in this market right now and going forward. So we're gonna just let, I don't know if you guys, I know this one.
Hello?
This one does bigger than you. Somebody want that? I know the gal might need one. Yeah.
Yeah, I got another one. So we have 4 if you guys want to say.
Feel more in charge.
Be in charge.
Yeah.
We're good. We had the mayor's in yesterday. We didn't do that one here. We should have been. I won't point out anybody who wasn't here that should have been here, but all of you who weren't here. No, yesterday was fantastic. You guys were here. We had the mayors in from some of the cities here, and it literally was pretty phenomenal. So take a look at that if you get a chance again. We're going to continue to work on our technology, namely our microphones, so that they don't cut out with the mayor is talking and I'm like
Karen, it was your topic. Which we think is I think it's a really great topic right now. Oh. Yeah.
Testing. Hello, I'm Karen Collins.
I love tech.
I thought it'd be really helpful for us, these guys more so than me, which by the way, I feel like standing here among you guys, I am peanuts. I think I've got like 17 closed units this year, which is, ooh, let's listen to that lady give us some real estate advice in comparison to you guys that are knocking it out of the park. But I really wanted to have these guys share because these guys have been extremely successful this year in the midst of what I think has been a really tough year for a lot of us. And so I think it's really important and cool for us to listen to these guys and hear what they've been doing to get their business, because I believe our success can be based on duplicating what others have already done. It has been successful. We don't have to recreate the wheel here. Let's listen to what others are doing and let's duplicate that ourselves. And I tell a lot of the new students that I teach that when you are a seasoned agent and someone copies you, it's actually considered a compliment. So I would love to be able to have these guys take a little bit of time and let us know, what have you been doing this past year that has been working for you? Where has your business been coming from? So who wants to start? Isaac.
Okay, I can start. So I appreciate it. One of the things that when we went through this exercise, and I got a chance to thank Karen for it at the end of previous meeting, I want to thank her again for that, is I already had a clues to what my numbers were and where my business was coming from, things like that. But what this did, because of the need to articulate it in front of another of my peer group here, it brought it down and gave me even in more detail into the weeds where my business is coming from, what percentages came from what sources, and really identified those sources, which going through that exercise was even more powerful than I expected and overdue. So I know that there's the phrase of, knowing your numbers, but if you think you know your numbers, we'll go to your numbers again and really identify. So this year, my business has been coming from a couple of different sources. I have a relationship with a lender, and it's a strong relationship. And so they send me pre-approved leads. I have the option of grabbing them or not grabbing them, but that's been a big source, and it has been for my business for since I started the last 5 years. With the goal of that relationship is to, and what I found is my goal is to maintain the same number of transactions, but reduce the percentage of what it is of my business. So keeping it in that 18 to 24 transactions for the year, but bringing it down from where it was at 75% of my business down to 50% of my business. And targeting that goal has been successful because it's allowed for more of my business to come from my SOI. I have had more business this year coming from my SOI, which includes my current database, and then the folks that I'm constantly adding to my database through new contacts, new relationships, new conversations. I've had a better and bigger year on that side. I've had more listings, almost coming up on twice as many listings this year than I had last year. It's not like it's 100, okay? It's 14. So it's a huge improvement over last year, but that's because I've been diving back into my database. And then also another source that is starting to flourish is other professionals. For example, their agents and other lenders. The one lender that I work with, not them, the non VU lenders. I've got lenders from other, from like Wells Fargo, Chase reaching out saying, hey, I got a lead for you. And that is because of the relationship that I've built with them, but also the credibility that I've built with that. Because right now, lenders, if they have a deal, they are not going to just give it to the new guy, the new gal. They're going to put it in the hands of a trusted advisor. And so if you have established yourself as that trusted advisor, and then the chances of you getting that lead pre-approved already vetted out goes up. So I encourage you to have those conversations with lenders and ask them, who do you have that I should be working with? I'm giving you that idea freely because I know 90% of you won't do it. There are thousands of lenders out there still, and they are all working leads as best they can. And when they get a lead, they have to decide whose hand am I going to put this into? And if you're a trusted advisor, then that's the hand that they're going to hand it to. So keep that in mind.
With those lenders, did they just give you that information or did you actually have to ask them?
The initial establishment of that, because I ask lenders regularly. And this is something that I've started doing here more intentionally in this past year than I have in the past. But I will ask them, every new lender that I meet with, every established relationship, I'll ask, who do you have that I should be working with? Now, it almost never results in, hey, you need to work with Karen Collins because you got her pre-approved for $3 million, right? What it does is I hack their algorithm, right? I've risen to the top of their brain. So now whenever they do come across somebody, and because I'm also marketing to them, they're on my drip campaigns, things like that. When they do have that person, I get the call. And so usually these last few instances, these last 6 leads that I have, or 3 that had closed, 1 that's closing, and 2 that were shopping. I think my math is right. It never came from the initial conversation. They never came from the initial ask. They all came 2 to 3 weeks later.
With your sphere of influence, you stay in touch with them.
Absolutely. I do a lot of networking. I do a lot of, everybody knows I'm very much involved with NAREP. So having that presence out there matters a lot, especially given the opportunity to lead. I'm taking full advantage of that. And if you have those opportunities to jump into organizations, whatever it is, doesn't have to be real estate related, but to lead in those organizations, it establishes and it creates that credibility and it keeps you top of mind.
What if you didn't do that?
I'd be chasing shiny objects. I'd be trying to find, I'd be spending $5,000 on a deal that promises me that I'll get 30 guaranteed appointments a month. All I got to do is spend $5,000 and whatever. Yeah, I wouldn't even be in the business.
You stop contacting your sphere of influence, would they forget about you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You.
No. Well, my business this year, then it's hard for everybody, has been kind of the same, the connections that have been created. As you know, I'm so involved too in NAREP, Women's Council, and also I participate a lot in events, the MAR, SPAR, and Minneapolis Association does. That gives me the opportunity to be outside all the time. My clients, when they ask, like, the market is so bad, what do you want to do? The interest rate, I always try to be positive. Even if in my mind it's like, oh, shoot, yeah, you're right. I try not to. I force myself to be positive and I say, yes, but I'm still here. still outside. You see what Minnesota Realtors is doing. Do you see what is the events that we have? So I always try to bring that front to make people thinking in a different way. That's basically my business. My business, when I put myself in front in what I'm doing, when I'm involved, they trust you. And sometimes people say, I don't know how you do this. Oh, I do it. I organize myself. Now I'm doing better. I choose where I go and where not to go, but I'm more intentional. You're learning. I mean, I've been in the business for 10 years. And probably the first 5 years, I didn't have a clue how to keep relationships, how to build it, and how to keep moving my business until I say, okay, I've been spending all my time doing this, this, and this, but believe me, it was worth it. Now people knows. Before, when people ask me, what did you in those events? Honestly, that was years. And I get to the event, walking around, I didn't know nobody. I left, right? But now I go to the room and it's hardly past 15 minutes without talking to each person. And that's awesome because the same, then the relationship we build with the lenders, with the insurance company, anything, everybody, you build in a trust. For me, if you see me in an event, I don't sit down. I don't eat. I don't do any of those stuff. I'm going around. They say, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm a new real estate agent. Do you want to know a lender? Come on, I'm going to show you who. And this is something that people like it because I'm not creating a business just for me. I'm creating and giving value to the person who came to those events. NARE was basically my next step in business, the National Association Hispanic of Real Estate Professionals. And that's how I get the trust with officials, with the associations. A lot of people don't even know what is SPAR, SMART, and MENAR. And are you kidding me? And you are been in this business for 10 years. We need to know. We need to know where to go because that's the trust that we can build as a real estate agent. I always tell people, I can be around all day long, but if I don't learn how to do my relationships, my business is not going to grow. But now, if I post something, they don't have to do nothing with real estate, I get texts, the same lead generation. I use those texts. Hi, Gija, how are you? I saw your kids. I'm so glad they go in college. And I use all that conversation to keep moving. My business, I don't have any family here. So that means then we have to work harder because my relationships are from zero. So every people that I know, every people that I have in my database, then now I'm learning better. Thank you. So I'm learning how to work my database and I know it works. Just we don't know what we don't know. But yes, basically I keep working. I keep positive. I keep going to those events. I keep bringing value to the people that I know. And that's been great. I have some agents that just call me and I say, I have a Spanish client. I can do it. I speak a lot of Spanish, but you know what? I know you can do it better. And they send the referral. And that's awesome because then you have that relationship. You pay the fee. Don't just ignore it. Send it to them. Say the thank you. And that's how do you grow your business. For me, it has been good doing what I do. I need to be more structured. I need to be more purposeful, but works. Being involved, being out there, help others, works.
Love that. What would happen if you decided to change your business plan? You decided you're going to stay home all week and just do one open house a week. How would that change your business?
I would change business.
Would you be forgotten?
No. If I keep the social media, no.
What if you get rid of that too?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So staying in front of people constantly Because if you don't stay in front of people all the time, they don't know you exist. So thank you. All right, Solange.
Can you jump to Jane and then back to Swan?
Yes,
Yeah, I think
Jane.
our
Meeting is back. Yeah, I'm trying to narrow it down. So Karen had a mastermind not too long ago, and that was helpful. I actually took Isaac's suggestion and I reached out to a few lenders that I've worked with a lot and just said, need an agent, and started that conversation. It's like, yeah. So thank you, Isaac, for that. I think when I analyzed for that mastermind where my business has come from this year, most all of it has been past clients, sphere referrals, past client referrals. And my efforts have been, I have had efforts in that area, but it's always good to look at where your business is coming from because it reminds me that those client events and reasons to touch throughout the year, like we're doing a shred event, doing a pumpkin thing, or, all the things we do on our team. It reminds me that it's really worth my time to reach out to my past clients. And, in addition to that, I do a lot of open houses. I do circle prospecting, door knocking, Facebook neighborhood posts within their, Small Business Monday or whatever their rule is. So I sort of keep front of mind. And then in addition to that, like what BJ said is adding value. So if I'm talking, part of this came from Mega Lead Conversion with Anna Kruger. Excellent. I've taken it twice. I've recommended it to my whole team. Half of them took it. It's basic. It's kind of throwing away your whole big binder of scripts, and you have two outlines that are scripts. There's seller scripts, buyer scripts. It works for everything. It's an outline, digging for motivation, da 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 da. So it just helps you understand what their motivation is, what the client needs. And then by offering value, I move them along. Anna used an illustration. I'm not a sports person, but she used the illustration of football. You're making progress towards the goal line. So person says, oh yeah, I might buy in 6 months to a year. Great. Have you had a chance to, have you chosen a lender yet? Oh no, it's kind of too early to that. Well, would it be helpful for me to connect you with one so you can have a short conversation to get an idea where your price point is at? Oh yeah, that would be helpful. Yeah, it doesn't cost anything. It's really quick. Great. Can I have a lender reach out? Sure. The lender reaches out. And so when I was a new agent, I would send them 4 lender options and they wouldn't do anything with them. Now I say, can I have a lender reach out? How that conversation is started, now they understand where their price point is, or that much further down the line. I do that with sellers too. Like, oh, we maybe you're thinking about selling, in the next year or two. Great. Would it be helpful for you to know what your house is worth in today's market? I'd be happy to do a complimentary market analysis. Would it be helpful for me to come look at your house to help give you ideas for where to add value so that you're doing things that matter, things like that. So whatever the conversation is, I help them get to the next step and then I keep in touch. I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Couple questions. So with your lead generation, would you rather invest time and money door knocking and doing events or buying online leads?
The first, definitely, I like to meet people in person at open houses or door knocking. I'm not super salesy. I'm an introvert, but somehow I can just knock on the door. Hey, I'm Jane. I live in the neighborhood and I sell real estate. I'm just out inviting neighbors to my open house. I'm just out offering neighbors a complimentary market analysis. I'm just out collecting coats for the coat drive, whatever that be. The team pays for Boomtown leads, and I have had mine shut off for at least 2 years. It was very frustrating. I wasn't getting back to them like I should. They cost money. I was enjoying open houses and conversions that way. So
Open houses, door knocking and events. And if you wouldn't mind, you feel comfortable saying how many units are you looking to close on this year? What is your forecast?
I know I'm in the 30s. So maybe 34. I'm on pace to be in the 14 to 15 million. I am on a team, so there's splits there, but I had a big goal, almost the same as last year, and I'm going to be kind of close to last year. But yeah, I started out with I was 50% down about March. I have a coach. I meet with Maps coach weekly. I was 50% down in March, and he's like,
What got you to go from 50% down to where you're at now? Activities.
Some of it was a delayed start spring market. So I had a bunch in the hopper that just hadn't happened, and then they did happen. Just continuing to follow up those leads. I just do it all. I do open houses. I try, and if I can't, I haven't had time to call people because that's really time consuming. So I will do a Boomtown email blast, and I'll share something relevant, like a New York Times article that might be interesting or something relevant. So at least I'm doing something. I did just buy Reach, an app that allows you to do individual texts, like a bulk text thing. So it comes to the person, looks like I just drafted an individual text for you. It doesn't say Boomtown above it or anything. So I did just do that because I was having trouble getting the time to call and text everybody. It's hours. Like if I text all my past clients, it's 5-6 hours if I just do a quick little thing. So to call them would be 8 or more. I can't do that.
For those of you that are afraid of door knocking or think that it's a waste of time. I mean, is anyone interested in closing 30 closed units? Is that a waste of time? She motivated me. I actually went door knocking last weekend. I got a listing lead. Every single time, guys, I go door knocking. Every single time I get at least one lead. I hate door knocking. And I still do it. All right, Solange.
Okay, morning everyone. My name is Solange Mba, and what has really been working for my business this year, it's so far the consciousness of going back into my database. Sometime last year I attended board, and it really got me bored towards the end of last year, and I took that spirit into the new year, and I think I am I've closed above 30 deals so far this year, and hoping to finish the year with another 20 or 30 more, because this last quarter for me, I really want to sit up some of the places where I had lapses. I took board last year, and I was reminded on what a real estate agent should do every day. When I look back into my past schedule, I would not have anything on my calendar I would be running up and down. I would just be what we call reacting to everything rather than programming my day and waking up and knowing this is A, B, C. And so after board, I was able to go back and do the needful. I went back into my database, and believe me, I cried every time I made those calls. There were people sitting in my database that had tried reaching me. Some of them even texted me through command. And before I could reach them, they were like, we waited, we called, we sent voicemails, and we are closed. I actually called a lady who told me, I am just moving in yesterday. I closed with another agent. So I said to myself, I cannot have this amount of contact in my database, and this is happening to me. So I started going through from the letter A, and I was patient. Every time I sat down and made those calls, I would have 3-4 appointments booked, would meet people on Zoom. I was actively going out for showings. I'm a buyer's agent specialist. I talked to Lynn one time and I mentioned to her that I hate listings. I don't know, for some reason. I'm trying to fight that part, but it is supposed to be the core part of our businesses. But for some reason, I align more with buyers. And I don't know if there's something wrong with that, but I think I'm doing great with buyers leads. And I call myself a buyer specialist. Every time I've met a buyer, those that were secured and insecure, have been able to talk to them, navigate their fears, and bring them solution. Created my group and I called it Solange Solution. That's because it resonates with me a million times. I feel as though I am just out there giving the buyers that solution. I've also done a couple listing this year, and my husband was amazed at one of the listings because he said, you presented so well. Why are you scared of listings? You got the listing anyways, and you did great. Said, I don't know. Each time I get a call and somebody talks about listing their homes, I either book the appointment and miss it, believe me, or call them and change it and move the date. And the last one, if I remember, I have not even attended. So,
Yeah, I'll give you a referral.
yes, exactly what Lynn told me. That's what Lynn told me. And I'll work on that. But yeah, my business has really been growing, and I am somebody with a very positive mindset. I want to grow way above what it is right now. Goals get me scary at times when I look at them. But I also think because I put such big goals to myself that I can even imagine, it's the reason why I challenge myself to be right where I am right now going forward. So my database gives me a lot of business as of it is right now. Then referral business coming from other clients that already serve us well is another where I get a lot of leads. The referral part is also a huge percentage in my business. And I also do housewarmings. If I close 4 or 5 deals a month, I make sure I go to all housewarmings. In those events, I am celebrated as the savior of that party. I'm given a mic, and when I take the mic, I'm able to command and tell people what they should be doing. It's about time to stop paying rent and start paying for your mortgage, is what I always tell them. And after such, after such exposure, people would come to me. I'm always ready. Everywhere I go, I'm conscious. Real estate is a contact sport, they say. And so I don't meet anybody by chance. It doesn't matter if it's on the road, if it's at the church, if it's in the supermarket or at a grocery store. I'm always ready with my business card. Before and after I knew that it was not my business card, it was actually me taking their contact, I became more conscious for that as well. As I give you my card, I pull out my phone and I I take your number. Then when I get home, I'm like, hey, it was nice meeting you at the supermarket. And that's how I connect. They became my friend. If they are not selling, if they already bought a home, I start getting into their downline. Time to time, I'll send them something, call them. You know, I also dance on Facebook. At times, I would send out my dancing video just for fun. And from there, I'm able to ask, who do you know is looking to buy or sell real estate? I get a lot of business from that. On my dancing videos on social media, I enjoyed dancing from when I was a child. And so it just came a time where I could not. I've been dancing in my basement for the past 9 years since I came to United States. But then I realized that people were creating content on social media. And what was very attracting was not just all about, hey, this home is here and this and this and this. At times, your audience needs to see something different. And so I made up my mind to put out those videos out there, and some of them are really creating an impact. I go to events in my community and people just know me right away. Hey, I know you are see on Facebook, you're the realtor. And yeah, people. And when I also go out to events, like someone was saying here, I don't eat on all those things, but I am conscious. I connect. And if there's some work to be done, I do it. Clean. And everybody's like, oh my God, you know, you come in, people are looking at you at a very high end, but there you are on your heels and you're picking, you know, dirty dishes and cleaning and putting stuff where everybody's surprised and people are like, oh, she's this nice and simple. And then people start connecting. I've done a couple events. This year I went to MegaCom. It was very life-changing. Just sitting there and watching other agents producing at massive, massive levels. That kind of boosts up my energy. Seeing Agent of Colors also doing mega things in the industry, it just reassures me that I am on right track.
You are constantly in front of people. And I think that's something that all of these guys have in common, is they're not sitting at home. You're constantly at a very high level in front of people. And I think that is a huge, huge correlation in terms of our success. Do I have 2 minutes where I can give a high D?
Oh, yes.
2.
Okay. This is my high D personality. And here's what I've been doing. Quick 2 minutes. Those seasoned agents that have a database, another part of my database is what I call orphaned clients. Orphaned clients. I keep track of all of the people that bought my listings, not the ones I represented, the ones that were represented by another agent. They all go into my database. I send them cards 3 to 4 times a year, introducing myself. You may or may not remember, I'm Karen Collins. I was a listing agent when you bought. If you are ever going to be in a position where you need to sell, call me first, because I've already sold that house once and even twice, and no other agent out there knows the house the same way that I do. I've gotten calls. Pretty cool. That's a whole separate category of my database. Door knocking, like I said, for newbies. Also, I did an event for seniors in New Brighton. I ran a booth and people had to fill out slips to get into a prize drawing. They had to give me their phone number and their email address and their name. If I get their name, I can look them up on Northstar and get their address after that. Now I've got all of their info. They went into my database. I have a few of them that I marketed to already and invited them to an event yesterday. Have an opportunity to come and see the mayor of your city. I had 4 of them show up from that original group. I had a chance to talk to them afterwards. One of them said, my neighbor is looking to sell their house in the next month or 2. I don't think they have an agent. Can I have your card? Because not only are you from New Brighton, where we're all from, but apparently you've got some good connections here with a lot of important people. And you're someone we'd like to refer out to. So there's a lot of different opportunities. We just have to keep our eyes and ears open and be willing to actually step out and do the things.
Any questions for our group? Does anybody have any questions for the panel online?
I do have one last thing. It is there's 5 weeks left, so I'm going to create some anxiety here. There's 5 weeks left, and if you have your contract or your client under contract by Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, it'll likely close in 2023. After that, you're battling Thanksgiving, you're battling Christmas, you're battling the holidays, every Christmas parties, things like that. We got 5 weeks left for 2023.
Hey, guys, stay up there. Stay up there for a minute. You go ahead. Chris.
So they can actually.
Well, I have a question for them. So I'll go and then you go. One of the things that I would like to acknowledge from all of you is not just your willingness to do what you need to in your business, but each of you also has a tendency to do what you can for other people in different ways, with the skill set and the things that you've created for yourselves. You also bring that here. Each of you is proof that you can create success in your own life. Solange, how long have you been in the United States? I don't laugh at you. I laugh at the fact that there are people that were born and raised here that haven't taken their options to lead with a goal of success. And you created an incredible life and an opportunity to go and help people in country that you had to leave because of what was happening there. You've been able to go back because of this. So when we think about when a lot of times when we think about our life and we think about what we're capable of, we stop short because of our own shortcomings, because of our own lack of belief in ourselves. And what I see with this group of people is a commitment to the things that they know that are going to make them successful. But probably more so for each of you is a commitment to helping develop people. Each of you, if you think about this, Isaac created the CML group, which is what does that stand for? Karen, what do you do on a daily basis in addition to selling real estate?
Teach.
DJ, what do you do to put yourself in front of people? What organizations do you lead right now?
Women's Council, Realtors, Twin Cities Metro, but also I'm part of in my city, the Multicultural Advisory Committee and the Police Department. So things like.
And she's on the regional board of directors for NAREP. So she's not only at the
Local level, but on a regional level,
West region
right?
for NAREP. She doesn't, I like to brag about that.
Right, me too. And you guys, I'm lucky to be able to brag about all of you though, because now then for Solange, what you've done is you've proven, you've given an example. By example, you've proven that with the right intentions and the right intensity in which you do, you can create something incredible that I'm guessing 10 years ago, you had no idea what you could create in your life. I mean, you knew who you were because you are that person, right? But you came and you did the work. So each of you in a different way has chosen to find helping people legitimately. You guys, this isn't bullshit. All of these people have set out to create opportunities for other people and allow themselves an opportunity to get to the goals in life that most of us don't by helping other people. So genuinely, thank you to all of you for consistently thinking of how you can make the world a better place. And by doing that, by being really great real estate agents. Thank you guys. All right, Carrie, it's you.
Just real quick, one of the questions I had, because I know we had no questions for the panel, but I feel like we can get these guys up here all day long. We can get Grant up here another time. We can get agents up here. Really, our goal is to change the life of each of you as agents, even the ones that are not coming up here. So when I see the people that are online, I guess my question is, I want to ask about 3 takeaways before we move on to the next thing. And I don't want it, obviously, from one of the people that were up here speaking, but a takeaway that you're taking away that you saw either commonality between what they were saying, or maybe something you're going to do different in your business, maybe something where you need one of us on the leadership team to work with you to improve your business. Because that's why we do these team meetings. That's why we do these panels. We want to help you grow your business. So if somebody doesn't speak up, probably call on you. Just putting it out there. Who's going to say first? Just a takeaway. I don't care what it is. That includes those online. Awesome. Jeannie.
One thing that really hit me,
Thing that really hit me from our panelists is that each person has their area that they really like to do. And it's okay to maybe if being a buyer's agent is what you love, that you should do. And I feel it's very encouraging to hear that door knocking may not be right for everyone, or door knocking can be very successful. At the end of the day, we can all be a success in our own way.
very good. Thanks, Amy.
Who else do we have? Who else has got a takeaway online? Because I will be calling on somebody online, so don't suddenly hang up.
Hey, Chad's got one here. So everyone on the board, and then also Grant too, they're running their business as a business owner and a CEO. They're not just a real estate agent. So that's a big thing that I would take away, is the fact that each and every day they're being purposeful about the direction they're going with their business, what they're going to focus on, the relationships they're going to build. And they're not just being reactive each and every day, which is tough for us not to do. But, you know, they've got to take pride in the fact that they're actually running their business and working on their business instead of just being reactive.
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate it, Chad. One more. In the room, online. About Kim, JD, JB, one of you guys want to hop off mute and share with us a takeaway?
Okay, I'll add.
All right, Lenny Lynn's gonna add, which
They all had more than one thing. They can't rely on just one thing, even if they've got a really strong sphere or a really strong referral, or they love open houses. They all had multiple things that they're doing. I try to tell my team they need three. You need 3 avenues that you are out doing. Don't need 10. Jeannie's right. I don't door knock.
so that's the biggest thing, is that I really want that to be the takeaway, is you are walking away from here, hearing it, learning it. One of the things that I really personally picked up, each of them, and again, and I see them in the room, is their presence. They're here. They go to the events. They participate in the events. They're doing events. They are working their database. Those are the people you are seeing present. And I understand that there's multiple jobs, and I understand. But again, 99% of the workforce have gone back to work. I'm just saying, if you can be here in the market center and you do not have a different job, even if you have a job where your hours are sporadic, really, really be here in the market center. Learn from these guys. I can guarantee you that they're in their office. And if you walk in and say, tell me about how you did that. How did you overcome that? It's going to make a difference. And you really need to do that. You need to get out. You need to ask these guys, because we really want to grow your business. That's the goal for us here as a leadership team. We don't come here every day just to sit here and run numbers. I mean, I would rather be celebrating a success, having you ring the bell or doing something like that. So really, really take advantage of your opportunity. If you can be here, get up, get out of bed, come in the office. We've got plenty of places where people can go, ask the questions, get involved, do the events, which now is going to completely make one plug, and then we're going to go to Lynn. If you are an agent 3 years or less in the business, you are not doing this month's pumpkin event, I need you to come see me. I need you to reach out to me, call me today. I want to talk to you about an opportunity. So please, please just take advantage of it and pick up the phone or stop in and see me today.
I drove way too much yesterday, but it was a fabulous 18 minutes. I have a grandson that's running cross country. I seriously drove 6 hours to see an 18-minute race. But he won first place.
You know what?
First Division Gophers Conference. I don't even know what it was. Your grandma, you don't care. You just love them. All right. I have been working on cleaning up some old files as we get a little slower in the year. Some of them you're going to get emails saying, hey, never turned this in, got away with it. You know what? The other brokerage still had to have it. If you got to call that other agent and say, hey, you know what? My broker's being mean, go for it. If you have a file that has a cancellation, guess what? You have to turn those in. You can't just have these opportunities fade away into oblivious. There's a cancellation, upload it and submit it. I'm not going to review the whole file and critique. You've missed an initial here or there. I just need that cancellation. Some of you have been fabulous this week. We've collected quite a few missing items, so thank you. We're also, not everyone does their own files. So Shannon, listen. We are going to use the console. Can't say the word. Funny, Isaac.
Console.
Thank you. Console. We're going to use that folder. That's where your agency, buyer rep, KW disclosure, and affiliated are going to go. So that if you are in the situation where you've got more than one offer for a client, you can keep stacking them. Compensation will still have to be in with the PA.
Yeah, so just kind of to clarify that, so you guys, if you're working with a buyer, we've had a couple of times where I go in and people will say that they can't locate their file and well, my transaction canceled. And so then we had to move it all over and start a new one. You are going to now put those buyer docs in that consultation folder. And then once you get it under contract, that's going to go down below. So that way you can do just like you do on a listing, and you can do the whole next version, second version, third version, so that you've got that opportunity. You don't have to keep pulling your documents out, re-download them, put them back in there. They'll always be up there just like they are on your listing paperwork. So please just make sure that going forward, you start putting them in there because that folder is now active and has the documents listed in there.
The system's kind of going to make it happen because once we change it on the back end, the files that are already open, you're just going to finish them like normal. Going forward, it's the only option you're going to have. Also, if you've got multiple offers, I don't catch them all. You know what? My job is to like supervise, but not babysit. I don't catch them all. But if I'm reading the MLS and it says, hey, multiple offers at 5 o'clock tonight type thing, and you only have one in the opportunity, I try to ask you to download the rest of them. I don't ask that you split them up and put them in the individual PDFs, make a folder on the left and dump them. Make sure there's a net sheet for each one. I did just have one of those nasty calls where someone didn't believe there was multiple offers. I don't share the offers with them, but I at least need to be able to open up the folder and say, hey, there really was. There, you know, maybe real brief, broad terms. This is why your offer didn't get accepted. You know, you're the only one that asked for an inspection. That might have played into it. We're up against a cash offer. I don't give details, but sometimes to calm someone down and avoid a complaint, we got to at least be able to acknowledge that, yeah, there really was more than one offer. So please, please get things in your opportunity. If you get one of these emails saying, hey, 9 months ago, you never turned in that cancellation, guess what? I still need it. I've been cleaning up files too by going into your Instanets. I don't know if you get any notice on that, but I can pull your signatures from there if they're there, and I can figure out what you named them. You guys are creative. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. We are at our time, you guys. Thank you so much. It's been a great day. Did we have anything that we had to cover? Please take a look at, guys, we're changing the format. It's going to not be an extended calendar event. However, that doesn't mean that your asses should go and take a look at what's coming up so you can participate in that. What do we have coming up tomorrow?
Tomorrow, chili cook-off, guys. You can still have time to make your chili. You can still do this. $100 for first place.
Is it about the $100 or is it about you get to go an entire year knowing that your chili is the
Actually,
best?
the best one in the market then, because I
The
know.
$100 is great, but knowing that my chili is better than everybody else's,
But I can put my name on yours since you don't really care. So,
I care about the $100, but only as a secondary to making it known that my chili is the best. chili.
there'll be calendars the first month on your side. You can grab it and take it, obviously things get added and removed, as well as outside of my office. There's now a whole list of everything you can come up with in orders. And to participate, down any one of the leadership in the leadership hallway. Who's got, what's coming up, how do I get involved, what can I do? Again, if you want to do the pumpkin event, or if we can talk about it, might have an opportunity for you. If you, even if you have 3 clients, let's talk about it. Please come see me today.
Come and get chili with us tomorrow, please.
You can clean the street before chili.
Oh, it's gonna be a super fun time.
Yeah.
You guys haven't done street cleanup before? It's a good time.
You good at it before it's done.
This time.
We're gonna do street cleanup from 10 to 11, and then chili warming back up at 11 o'clock.
And then next week, we have the fall festival. So you guys jump into this, don't make us remind you all the time, because we're not good at that.
The 3 hours down at theater and I'm on. Not the technology. But,
I nobody's going, but maybe we should.
all right,
There was a song.
I even made my husband sign up, because I didn't want to be down there at night.
By yourself. Always and forever.
Not that he's like, you know.